Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We are live from Soldier Field, right here in beautiful Chicago, Illinois, on day number 3 of the final 5 Grateful Dead Fairly Well Tour concerts, ladies and gentlemen, right here on LiveList.com. We're bringing you some exclusive pre-show footage. The crowd is absolutely crazy behind me right now. The stage is pumping. People are filing into the arena. It's an absolutely jam-packed event tonight, and it's going to close off a chapter in our American musical history. It's going to be absolutely amazing and absolutely immense. Here on LiveList, we have brought you an exclusive pre-show that we've curated just for you guys at home, showing you scenes from Live in the Lot, special guest interviews, behind-the-scenes footage, and we're really excited to show some of it to you. Take a look at the crowd behind me, folks. It's absolutely awesome. And take a look at some of these of our favorite highlighted segments from today here in Chicago on day 3. Let's take a look at some of those now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you are watching LiveList.com. LiveList is your guide to live. Hundreds of concerts a day, thousands of concerts a month. Click the subscribe button right now at the bottom of the page and sign up for free. LiveList is your guide to live. What is your most memorable Grateful Dead experience?
Well, it hasn't happened yet.
The Grateful Dead was my first concert ever. So I was 13. My friends got me a ticket, said, "You want to go see good rock and roll?" I said, sure, of course I want to see rock and roll. And we ended up at the Grateful Dead concert at RFK in D.C. And so here we are 20 some odd years later.
Most faithful Grateful Dead experiences today. Yeah, right. We have never seen the real Dead all together with, minus Jerry, so this is going to be great for us.
Awesome.
Truthfully, I guess today, I woke up drinking at 8 a.m., So
was that the first time you experienced the Dead or their music or the culture?
That was it. And I've been hooked since then. And it's been from Grateful Dead to Fish, and it's been a good, as they would say, a long, strange trip since then.
So my greatest memory is the music. Like, I was never part of the show, but I'm a huge fan of the music and the tunes, and that for me is the biggest memory.
When was the first time that you experienced the Grateful Dead, music, culture, anything? Where were you and what were you doing?
middle school, chasing tail, I guess.
Got into them right at the tail end when I was in high school, so I was like 94. So I've never seen them live. I was that close. They were going to tour in 95. Obviously, that tour never happened. And they don't come to Canada because of the border thing.
Oh, man. Way too many. I have a whole diary of every show I've been to, and it's full of a million experiences. And this should be another capper of it all. So,
you know, generally just the way most Deadheads get turned on by a friend who has a concert tape and they lend it to you. And for me, it was Cornell 77, which is like the most famous show in their history. So hearing that tape for the first time was just completely blown away. Yeah. And I'm like, holy shit, they've been doing this for how many years? And they do how many shows a year? And all these tapes exist? And so that's what it was for me. It was getting somebody handing me a tape.
So, and what's your favorite Grateful Dead song?
I want to see Black Throat win tonight.
Can you sing it for us?
I could, but I'm not going to.
Okay.
Save that for inside.
All right, thanks, man.
Touch of Grey.
Touch of Grey?
I'll go with Touch of Grey.
Can you sing it for us?
Oh, wow. I don't know about that. Maybe you should.
Come on.
I will get by. Do 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 do. We will get by.
Very nice. Thank you, guys. All right. Have a good show. Favorite song?
Impossible question. But I like, the Jerry tunes. So I'm Terrapin, Scarlet Fire.
Can you sing some Terrapin for us?
No.
And what's your favorite song?
My favorite. I mean, how would you ever be able to pick a favorite song? What I'm hoping for is a Help on the Way, Slipknot, Franklin's Tower for an opener.
The scene is just incredible too, and I'm looking forward to experiencing it all.
All right, guys, that was Live from the Lot today in Chicago, Illinois. What an awesome experience. I got to go out there and meet all these cool people, all of the fans and all the crowd. There's a few things that make a concert like this such a momentous occasion. It's not only about the the insurmountable talent of the group. It's not about the size of the following necessarily. What it's about is the vibeology. You get a mix from all across the board. We're talking to people that are coming from Tennessee, people that flew in from Saudi Arabia, people that followed us from the Bay Area in Santa Clara to right here in Chicago. It's been absolutely thrilling to see all of these people come together, and there's some themes that have kind of carried over. As we talk to folks, there's people of different ethnicities, different backgrounds, different age brackets. This is a group, the Grateful Dead, that have influenced, the baby boomer generation on up. And it's just absolutely cool to see all these people coming together. We spoke to a father and a son, for example, that, the dad wanted to share his love for the music with his young son, and they had a great bonding experience over it. So it's been absolutely cool, to see this sort of thing between all the generations. And the cool thing about being in Chicago, it's such a diverse city and such a diverse community. You can hear the crowd behind us again. They're going crazy, and we're just filling this 60,000 capacity venue tonight, and we are sold out. So it's going to be absolutely cool. So LiveList is what you're watching. Register right now. Go to livelist.com. We're the #1 guide to live streaming concerts worldwide, and it's free to register. You can actually curate your own live list and connect yourself with your favorite artists. We're bringing you hundreds of live concerts every single day. That's thousands of concerts a month, and you can sign up for free right now on livelist.com and let us know how we're doing. There's a feedback button at the bottom of the page. Click on it. Send us your feedback. It's feedback@livelist.com. Go ahead and do it. We'd love to hear from you. Right now, we'd like to jump away to one of the special guests that we're bringing to you as part of our exclusive pre-show experience. We spoke to someone who is a writer, an editor, and an all-around music lover. He's the editor of Relix magazine, and we'd like to take you to him right now. All right, everybody, we are here with Mike Greenhouse from Relix magazine. Mike, you're the editor-in-chief. Thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me. I'm really excited to be in Chicago this weekend.
It's a beautiful time here at Soldier Field. It's the final 5 Grateful Dead shows. We are in show number 3 tonight. It's electric atmosphere. And you, as an editor, covering musical events, covering musical stories, covering experiences that people share, en masse, what do you look for from the experience that you convey in a story that people can take home with them?
Well, I think there's got to be like a universal hook that anyone can get into, whether you're a fan of the Grateful Dead, whether you're a fan of music in general. I think that this is, really a human interest story. The Grateful Dead shows here, you have people of all different demographics, all different age groups coming together for these shows. And I think that also, reflects on the Dead's music, which, covers such a broad mix of genres and, such a long period of musical history. And also, it's a community here. If you look around here, there's all these vendors where I think we're Participation Row around us, where people are trying to help out great causes in the nonprofit world. So I think we look for just a universal cause that will, both make our readers, our geekiest readers, appreciate what we're writing about, and also, maybe bring in some people who are just trying to understand what the experience is like.
So as a music journalist, obviously live music has been a big part of your life. What has inspired you about the Grateful Dead's music and about the Grateful Dead culture that you draw on today?
Well, I think that you said it right there in live music, and for a long time people described the Grateful Dead as a psychedelic rock band or a jam band, and I think the thing they really are were one of the world's greatest live bands, and every single show is a unique experience, and all the different bands that Relix covers, whether it's an electronic act, an indie rock act, a jazz act, or a traditional rock act, I think the one common thread is that we always try to cover bands who are great in the live realm.
Absolutely. Very cool. Well, thank you very much for being with us, Mike. We really appreciate it. Mike Greenhouse from Relix magazine. All right, folks, that was Mike Greenhouse from Relix magazine, editor-in-chief, Relix magazine. It's a pleasure to talk to Mike. His insights are incredible. He's someone that's followed the Grateful Dead for a long time, and, bringing that experience to words so that everyone can live in the moments that he's living in and sharing it with the rest of us. That's really cool. And that's a lot about what we do here at LiveList. So a lot of people, I'm sure, are asking, what is LiveList? What is it all about? What is this thing that I'm watching? The answer is really simple. It's unique. And when you think about what makes an incredible event? A live performance. You're thinking about something that is powerful, it's visceral, you're experiencing live creation in front of your eyes, and it's very special. And that's what really embodies the spirit of what the Grateful Dead are doing tonight. A lot of the tunes they're playing, they're going to continue on for, 45 minutes. They're going to be jamming on and bringing this crowd to their feet. And that's what we're doing at LiveList. We want to bring incredible events, the ones that we share, the ones that we experience together, to a larger audience. And we're doing it for you. And we're doing it on a level that hasn't been done before. We're doing it on any device, at home, anywhere, anytime. And it's all through this simple, intuitive platform, and it's really built around your preferences. Simply put, LiveList is designed to connect you with your favorite artists, and when they stream live. That technology didn't even exist a few years ago, and I can just remember, being a young kid and going to my first show and seeing the incredible energy that the band exerted on stage, because they knew that they were affecting the people in the audience. And to have the experience of the sights and the sounds and the smells of being in a big venue like this, Soldier Field is absolutely huge. It's in the beautiful museum campus here in Chicago on Lake Michigan. The air is crisp and clear. There are food vendors everywhere cooking food. There are 60,000 people waiting to pile into this venue at a sold-out concert, and it's incredible. And it's difficult to duplicate that experience when you're looking at it on a device until now. So what we're trying to do is create a network of connected music experiences, and we're opening doors like never before. So we're seeing festivals, we're seeing intimate shows, studio sessions, arenas across town, across the country, and we're proud to do it for you and to curate a special experience for you. So those special experiences for these Grateful Dead shows are something that needs to be shared, just like the experience of a concert itself, and documented. And we've gone out of our way to make sure that we are documenting all 5 of the final 5 Grateful Dead shows on their Fairly Well tour. It's closing off a big chapter in our American music history, and it's opening doors to new experiences that we can share together. So right now, we'd like to share with you a short clip, a short segment that we put together highlighting our first 2 days in Santa Clara, California. And welcome back to Chicago, ladies and gentlemen. Soldier Field behind me is absolutely electric. The sights and the smells are incredible. The crowd is raring to go, and we're excited, very excited to see what the Dead are going to do on stage tonight. But first, let us show you some of the awesome moments that we captured from our fans this afternoon. We like to call them testimonials.
I live in Naperville, about 30 miles west of here, but I'm originally from New York. I'm probably one of the only people who live in the Chicago area in this whole line, because they're all from everywhere else. Yeah, I've been a fan since 1974, 73, 74. I first started listening to the Grateful Dead, and then saw my first show in 76, and been to hundreds of shows, including all the post-Grateful Dead bands like the Dead and further, Phil and Friends, and those various configurations. The music was always, I loved it right from the beginning, and when I went to my first show, I was like, okay, I got to see them, and then the people I was with, they wanted to go to the show the next night, and I didn't understand back then, you know, I'm like 16 years old, why would you want to just do what we just saw already? But then, of course, you know, all the shows are different set lists and things like that. So, and then just started going to see them a lot, and all through my college years, and even after. And here we are, 50 years later. The band is doing this tremendous event right here in Chicago, which is just unreal.
We are looking for tickets. We're looking for a miracle. We need 2 tickets. This is awesome. Woo!
You gonna get it?
I think we definitely gonna get it. Yep, be positive.
Sending out good vibes.
Why would you want to be here?
Why not? Why not?
There's no other place to be. I've been following him for 50 years, so I'm not gonna stop now.
It's not time to get off the bus yet.
I'm from Missoula, Montana.
Yeah? How'd you get here?
I flew in last night, slept in Chicago airport. So my hotel reservation doesn't start until today.
Why would you want to be here?
It's the Grateful Dead, man. I don't know, it's gonna be my first time seeing them, but I'm a huge Fish fan, and since Trey's part of the whole mix, it really got me intrigued.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are joining us here live on LiveList.com. My name is Matt Kerner, coming to you from Soldier Field in Chicago, Illinois. Day number 3 of the final 5 Grateful Dead Fairly Well Tour shows. The band is getting ready to go on. The crowd is built. See what the Dead is going to do on stage tonight. Couple of fun facts we found out while we're talking to fans and, you know, the crew backstage and getting a feel for everything, is that the Grateful Dead's 1974 wall of sound PA system was made from over 604 speakers. That's 604, and weighed 75 tons. It used 26,000 watts of power and was the largest sound system ever built at that time in 1974. And the sound system behind me here, from what I understand, is far exceeding that. It's absolutely crazy. There are speaker trees way out in the crowd. The stage itself has got speakers on all 4 sides. It's absolutely nuts. The crowd is going crazy out here. We got some dancing bears. We've got some, we got people that are laying down and having a great time. And we've been able to talk to a lot of people today, you know, testimonials, some of our favorite highlights. We got some comical responses. We met a lot of characters. And we also heard from one of our other special guests in a very particular and very important part of the Grateful Dead culture. And we went down to Participation Row. Her name is Lori Leninger, and she's going to tell you about the importance of the philanthropic community that surrounds this awesome group. It's not just about great music, it's about building great communities and giving back. So let's go to Lori Leninger and hear from her now. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are here with Lori Leninger from Participation Row. Lori, thank you so much for being with us.
Of course, thank you.
Would you be able to tell us a little bit about what Participation Row is?
Yes, of course. So Participation Row is a row of nonprofits that come out to music events to engage concertgoers in civic participation and other nonprofits in their community. We come because bands want to support organizations that they love. It's amazing.
That sounds awesome. And what is your involvement with Participation Row, and how does that translate into the philanthropic nature of being in the Grateful Dead culture?
Yes, of course. So I am the organizer for Participation Row. We brought out 17 organizations this weekend that have some association with the Grateful Dead that the band members support or even started. And we've done work this weekend to ensure that the organizations can talk about the great work that they do. And we're also organizing a silent auction so they all go home with a little bump in their pocket.
That's awesome. So the Dead have, and you mentioned the band members have actually helped start some of these organizations. Is this a historical thing for them? Has this been going on a long time? Is it relatively new? Can you give us some historical context?
So Participation Row itself is a pretty new thing, but the Dead have been supporting nonprofits and philanthropy all of their career. Some of these organizations, the Siva Foundation, this is our first time being back at a Dead show in like 17 years. So people see them and remember the history of seeing them at shows in the ages past. So it's pretty amazing.
That's really cool. And if I want to participate in the philanthropic culture here and Participation Row, how would I do that if I'm coming to the venue? And yeah.
We have 4 limited edition postcards that we designed. Every organization has each postcard. So you go to an organization, you take an action, engage with the organization with the work that they do, and you get a postcard. So if you go to 4 organizations, you have one of each, a cool keepsake to go home, and we're hoping that we can leave this weekend saying Deadheads took 10,000 socially conscious actions at Participation Row these weekends.
That's absolutely beautiful. And so, Lori, you've been in the Dead culture. You love the group. Tell us a little bit about your first time experiencing the music and experiencing all it is to you. And where were you when that happened?
So, I mean, I grew up listening to music. The Dead were clearly a part of that. But now I work for an organization called Headcount. Bobby Weir of the Dead is on our board, as is Pete Shapiro, who's the promoter for this event. So I've just been totally ingrained in that world and their music and just the amazing good feelings that come out of it for about 5 years with Headcount now.
Very cool. And do you have any favorite Dead songs since you're here at the concert that you hope to enjoy tonight?
I unfortunately am not going to see much music tonight, and I don't know any Dead songs. It's a terrible question to ask me.
We love all of them. It's really hard to choose sometimes.
Songs.
Yeah, we all do. All right, Lori. Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Lori. We are here with Lori Leninger from Participation Row right here in Chicago at the 3rd of the final 5 Grateful Dead Fairly Well Tour shows. Lori, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
All right, we heard from Lori Leninger from Headcount on Participation Row. You know, it's very interesting when you think about the philanthropic nature of the music community in general and how the Dead have perpetuated that over the years. It's absolutely incredible, and I think that really speaks to the nature of the type of music that they play. You know, the gospel and the blues influence that has permeated the style of this group and influenced so much in what they do really speaks to the communities that type of music comes from. So when you think about a musical history context of things, those are small, tight-knit groups of people that they take care of each other. And it's very interesting to see this on such a large scale. You know, the goal of sending out 10,000 pieces of goodwill at this event, it was far exceeded in Santa Clara, and they're going to do it today. We are confident of that. The crowd is banging on drums down there. They are going absolutely crazy. I don't know if we can get a shot of that and kind of hear what they're doing, but they are just going absolutely crazy downstairs. Yeah, take a look right down by the stage. It is a sea of folks, it is a sea of people, and it is absolutely cool. It's absolutely amazing. There's you can see the sound booth over here in the middle, and maybe we could show the folks at home when you're producing a live show like this, it's very interesting some of the tech that goes into it. If you look right in the middle, there's a big display of what looks like a lot of metal scaffolding and a lot of, black tarp and all this. That's really the heart and soul of the operation over there. And there's very few people that you can see actually have access to it. But you're controlling lights and sound from different places, and you want to be able to hear the best possible live mix that you can get when you're mixing a show like this. And when you're putting something like this together and you have so many interesting parts moving on stage, what you'd really have to accomplish is a logistical feat. You're plugging in different types of instruments. The Grateful Dead's a very interesting group because we have instruments that are digital, we have instruments that are acoustic, we have instruments that actually come from different genres of music, and they have their own custom-made instruments. So from an engineering standpoint, it's actually quite fascinating. And what they're doing at this scale is they're taking something no bigger than this chord on the microphone, and they're amplifying it so that it has enough depth and pressure to reach the entire crowd of 60,000 and still make it thump, when we hear a low tom. And that's very interesting as well. So just watching this whole setup happen, watching the crowd enjoy, it's all part of the musical experience. It's all part of being here and being on the scene. And it's something you have to experience once in your life. Go to a concert, stand in front of the speakers, let your shirt move because the volume is so loud that it's actually bumping inside of you. It's absolutely infectious, and it's why we do these concerts. It's why we do this. So having said that and talking about the concert, tonight we're being joined by a couple of guest musicians with the Grateful Dead, and a lot of people don't realize that one of tonight's special guests, Bruce Hornsby, is actually a Dead veteran. He's played with the Grateful Dead before. He knows the sound. But what's interesting about their shows that I'm sure you'll experience tonight for yourself is that the Dead's sound is actually accommodating the uniqueness of the way that Bruce Hornsby plays. Trey Anastasio is joining from Fish, and he's been figuring out where he fits into that mix. And it's been fascinating, as a musicologist, to sit back and watch how the musicians are communicating on stage, how the fans are responding to it, and the difference in technique that's happened just in the performance, even on the most basic levels, the band is actually adjusting to how they play, and they're adjusting to each other in their communication style, the way that they end tunes, the way that we transition between tunes. We had a set in Santa Clara on the second night where we played one of the songs that went on for 20 minutes. It was incredible. It was such a jam and such communication. And that's another thing about these live shows that you don't get sometimes when you buy a studio album, is you're seeing that communication unfold into new forms of expression. And those type of jams, especially the Grateful Dead show, I think the fans will tell you that those inclusions actually end up reaching their own consciousness and becoming a higher form of expression that you need to be in the moment to understand. And when you're in such a big venue like this, when you're surrounded by so many people experiencing the same thing at the same time, it's absolutely magical. And you can hear behind me, the fans are just raring to go. And they're getting ready to go on stage. We can see some movement down there. And we're very, very excited to see what the band is going to do tonight. Just a couple of interesting facts that you're going to hear tonight because it's included in their set list. The Library of Congress has actually recognized that the Grateful Dead's Truckin' is a national treasure, which is awesome because it puts it right up there with the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. And I think a lot of Dead fans will feel that way as well, that it is part of our national treasure. So, tonight what we're seeing is the convergence of people from all over the world, from all walks of life, that are here to experience music, not necessarily one genre, not necessarily one group. You have a band on stage that has spanned 50 years, multiple groups formed their own sound in and out of themselves, and they've created something that is so magical that it's captivated the world over. And it's formed right here in the United States. It's truly the highest expression of what we do as American artists, and it's going to be awesome to see this chapter in our history close off with these final grand gestures from such a legendary group. So it's no surprise that the Library of Congress has recognized some of the library as being a national treasure. In fact, a band like this with such notoriety has to think about how they're going to engage the marketplace and how they're going to make money. Being 50 years old and relevant means that you have to play one show every 4 to 5 days for years to reach the audience that you want. And this band has done it. They played over 2,300 shows for 30 years between 1965 and 1995, and they are culminating it tonight right here at Soldier Field. And it is our pleasure to be with you. Don't forget that you're on LiveList.com. Go to LiveList.com and register. We're the #1 source for live streaming concerts worldwide. We want your feedback. Go to the bottom of the page when you register. Click on the feedback button and tell us what you think. Feedback@LiveList.com. We want to improve. We want to grow. We want to be the new medium for bringing these live experiences to you at home and you on your phone, and so that you can share it with your family. And we would like to be the people to do that for you. Hundreds of shows a day, thousands of shows every month. Sign up right now. It's absolutely free. You can curate your own material at LiveList.com. Okay, looking back down at the stage, we're seeing some more movement. There's a lot of people down on the field. They've lined all of the grass with this plexiglass covering, and it is it's so awesome to hear all the footsteps down there, and it's going to fill up. It's absolutely going to get packed with people. This venue itself has so many entrances that people are literally coming in from 4 corners, and it's awesome and incredible to see what's going on. You can see some of the sound techs over here and the lighting technicians. They're getting ready. They're testing some of the lights right now. We're watching some of the security personnel move around the perimeters and the tunnels, which means that they're getting ready. It means that the band is getting ready to go on, and that we're almost there. So we're going to stay with you live right here until we see some confirmation from the band live on stage. And okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are got to go. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Matt Kerner for LiveList.com.